Hopefully, as you already know, I posted a video called What Does Medium Heat Even Mean? And I got a comment on that video yesterday saying, what a pointless video. What's next? Why is water wet? And that one really got me because I'm editing a video right now called Water is an Ingredient, where I do explain why water matters. And part of it is it's wet.
Wow, you just got clocked so hard in the comments. I don't even agree with them, but that is so funny.
Yeah, they have no idea what they just had a premonition about. And I hope that they stick around to see what's coming up in a week or two.
That's incredible. Why is water wet?
As for this week, what is in the news, please?
A growing consumer appetite for intense sour flavors is reshaping food trends across the board. From vinegar-spiked cocktails to mouth-puckering candies, sour is stepping into the spotlight as a worthy competitor to the spicy flavors that dominated recent years.
Do you think it's fair to assert that the only way that a tasting note can achieve the stratospheric height that spicy achieved would be like if a Hot Ones ripoff actually sticks? I think so far the only Hot Ones ripoff that I've ever seen actually like gain a modicum of traction is people who get into a cold plunge with Kevin Hart. That has nothing to do with food, but that's as close as I've seen anybody get.
You know, I don't know if this is actually correct. This is just my perception of things, but it feels like Hot Ones has kind of been in a decline for a couple years now. So I don't know if that is the best comparison, but I will say in terms of a flavor like sour that you can really see on camera like that, I could see something like that working. I don't know how sour you would have to get in order to achieve the same intensity that a really spicy hot sauce would be, though. I don't know that you can get to that painful.
I think that's the real problem with the marketability of sourness is, I'm personally more of a spicy guy, but sour suffers from the same weakness of marketing. Like there's no way to properly advertise how sour something is unless it's at the extreme. And that's true of spice as well. Like the only metric that I have for measuring my own spice preference is like hot enough to slow you down while eating, but not too hot to prevent eating altogether. And it's really hard when you get like welcome to Burger King. We have a new ghost pepper ultra hot burger and it's like not spicy at all. I think you're going to run into that with sour as well, other than Warheads, which have a reputation from like 20 years ago as being very sour.
You know, there is part of me that wants to push back on that and be like, well, we literally have Scoville units, like we do have a way of measuring this. But you do have a point there in terms of, if we're not talking about like chilies directly, these products often tend to be like very misleading in terms of the intensity. Ghost pepper can either be like, I'm going to be on the toilet crying for 6 hours, or I'm going to feel nothing. There's like no in between. This article did mention a company that does seem to be doing something about that with sour flavors, though. The Sour Boys company, which is YouTuber Oompaville and Call Me Chris. That is their company. And they have I think a 1 through 5 system that compares the intensity of their sour candy to other sour candies, which is not a perfect system because it is relative. But I do think that is really interesting, and I would like to see some more of that because I love sour candy, but I think some sour candies are really gross.
You're talking mostly about candy. The way I see sour present itself most frequently is in cocktails. I feel like everybody over the past 5 years in the cocktail world has been talking about acid-adjusted cocktails. Yuzu was a big one. Super Juice is acid-based, and it's all acid, acid, acid. I think the meta for cocktails right now trends too tart for me. Actually, that reminds me, like tart versus sour, that's going to be like a crispy versus crunchy type thing where it's like which one's which and how do you know when something's tart versus sour, but I'll just use them interchangeably for now. I think in general, many cocktails end up being a little bit too sour for my taste, and that's where I see it being applied the most.
I am all about the sour cocktails, so no complaints here from me. I love like a yuzu or tamarind, something that really makes me like eyes watering, But I do think that kind of like visceral experience is a huge draw for this kind of thing. People love to see other people reacting to these things, whether that's, watching somebody, in the realm of spicy, like try these things on Hot Ones, or like viral videos of people giving a slice of lemon to a baby. Like, that experience, like, makes us want to do it more.
Yeah, and I do think how much you enjoy it depends heavily on how many fermented or sour foods you were fed as a baby, and I imagine that's why I like spicy because I was probably fed a lot of spicy foods as a baby due to my upbringing. But did I mention I finally tried the Fruit Riot or whatever it's called, the sour grapes at Costco?
No, you did not mention that. What did you think of them? I have had them, and I have mixed feelings.
Luckily, they were on sample, so I just got to eat like 3 of them in a free sample instead of buying the whole bag because, yuck. It is not like sour grapes. It is grapes, a beautiful fruit made by nature that's already kind of perfect, covered in like this nuclear neon, really abrasive candy, and it's, not at all what I expected, and I will never try one again, even if it was free.
I really like the concept, but the execution I feel like is just not good. I love the idea of like a healthier alternative to like a sour candy that's just using fruit, but something about biting into the like rock hard grape and it's like slushy inside. It's so texturally far from what I want in a sour candy that it just like broke my brain.
Yeah, just rolling the grapes in lime juice and then covering them with, like, monk fruit powder, that'll get the job done. The hardened candy exterior, doesn't do it for me.
Something that I think is really interesting, though, in terms of the rise of like sour flavors, you mentioned on the show maybe, I don't know, 3, 4 episodes back or something, about how like really strong tart flavors are apparently more desirable to GLP-1 users. And I think that we are seeing such a huge market open up for these like low sugar, low calorie sour candy alternatives. I just read an article recently about how Joyride has become the top selling non chocolate candy at Target, which is crazy to me because that is like a low calorie, low sugar option. And for that to be beating out Nerds gummy clusters is that's saying a lot.
Are you aware that Joyride is a YouTuber product?
I am. I have no idea who that man is though.
Okay.
And I don't know if I really care to know, honestly.
Funny story, we actually went to Target yesterday, and I almost never go to Target, and I was walking through the aisles, and I saw that there's a grocery section, and I go, "Wow, groceries at Target," and Brie goes, don't say that stuff out loud, you're really aging yourself or dating yourself," and then we get to the checkout line, and she goes, "Mr. Beast chocolate?" And I'm like, "Well, well, well, look who's aging themselves now."
Oh my goodness, she didn't know about Feastables.
No idea.
Oh my goodness. That's not a fan of the show, I
It's
guess.
because I stay plugged into the news. What else do I have to know about today?
Fitness coach Joe Wick's latest endeavor is the Killer Bar, a protein bar with 96 legal but controversial ingredients and alarming health warnings, created to highlight the dangers of ultra processed foods.
Sometimes I really enjoy when you bring me a story about which I have no prerequisite knowledge nor context, because to me, the story on its face just reads as really interesting performance art, the way that like a Nathan For You episode might be. It's provocative, it has a clear point of view, and nice work. I do acknowledge that I'm really only privileged to have that response because I don't know who this guy is. I'm fully prepared for you to drop some context bomb on me that reveals something awful because, when it comes to things that I do actually know about, it's very easy to spot a grifter or a bad faith actor. This weekend, I got an email from a brand of tortilla chips that seemed pretty normal, save for the fact that I see enough of their ads to know that they are like the seed oils are poison, beef tallow loving type of brand that I don't want anything to do with.
I don't have anything terrible to drop on you about this guy, but it does seem like he is a bit of a grifter. I was not familiar with this guy prior to stumbling upon these articles. He is like a UK-based like fitness and wellness influencer, has wrote like a dozen cookbooks that are all like, uh, how to lose weight and whatever, or like how to follow this diet to lose 20 pounds and things like that. And he does kind of seem to be like a bandwagon jumper in that regard. He has been making content and writing books since 2015, but started to take off during the height of the pandemic with like his at-home hit workouts and things like that. But from what I have read, he is sort of pivoted a little bit away from the hit workouts and is focused more on like strength training, and he's done a lot of stuff that's sort of like really demonizing sugar even in like natural forms like fruit. He put out a video like several months back where he was like, I am so addicted to sugar that I can't eat fruit. I can't even let myself eat it. Um, and when you see that kind of energy alongside something like this with the killer bar being promoted this way, it really just strikes me as somebody trying to be sensational for the sake of being sensational. And that is what works. Obviously we're here on the show talking about it. It's working. But it just feels like an irresponsible thing to do.
And now's the part where I revealed that I did that once too, where I limited myself to like 10 grams of sugar per day for like a month or two. And it was like blueberries are the only thing that I can enjoy in terms of fruit that will keep me under 10 grams a day. So if that's freak behavior, then lock me up. I'm a freak.
That itself is not freak behavior. There's nothing wrong with, eating whatever kind of diet like feels good for you. And I'm sure people are already not listening at this point because nobody wants to like listen to the fat girl talk about health and wellness to them. But like, it's not like freak behavior to be like, oh, I don't really eat sugar, or I try to limit my carbs, or I try to hit a certain amount of protein. It just feels irresponsible to me in this day and age to be really demonizing ultra processed foods, especially something like a protein bar, which is like really not that abrasive, I guess, in terms of ultra processed food. It's not like this. I don't know. It's not like Nerds clusters or Velveeta cheese or something else where you look at it and you're like, that is made with science. Um, and it all just comes down to like the people who want to demonize like chemicals, and everything is made of chemicals.
Yeah, I earnestly don't know how much demonization is taking place with the rollout of this product. I just think it's kind of a neat statement to be like, look at what I can get away with. That's a fun product idea because it's like, wow, this person is really committed to the facts. Like he actually made the product. And I think that's a cool piece of whatever you want to call it, like performance art in my case. That's cool until, up until the implication becomes, and they are trying to kill you with this stuff. I don't know if that statement has been made. I'm sure that a lot of people are inferring it from the rollout of the product. What I don't know how I feel about is the fact that you are covertly slipping good stories to friend of the show, Hydroxide Food Science, because I saw her react to this. We're recording this on Monday morning. I saw her take on this on Monday morning. And so, a lot of my filtering of this story is going through the lens of smart person hydroxide. And, Hydroxide makes a good point. Like, why a protein bar? Why make this product a protein bar? Shouldn't it be like a cake or a Cheeto or something? And my personal suspicion is that protein bars are allowed to taste bad and look bad, and people will still buy them. But that's Hydroxide's point is like, why make it a product that's aimed at people who don't really care about this stuff? Like bodybuilders are kind of more willing than average to, say, inject things into their bodies or try strange powders, things like that.
That was exactly where I was going to go, is the steroid of it all. Like, obviously this guy, Joe Wicks, is not like promoting that kind of use or anything like that. But if you are involved in like the health and wellness, fitness, bodybuilder, whatever space, like if you're going to talk about like the damage that people are doing to their bodies with like the things that they consume, like there are so many worse things to go for than protein bars. Like, like I said with the Velveeta and the Nerds thing, if you wanted to make it about food, but you could talk about steroids in the same breath there.
Yeah, steroids are illegal, right? So I guess the question is like, I hope that people who are upset by this are at least looking at it through the lens of like, look at what you can get away with selling. I am going to try my best to eat a healthy diet regardless of what's available in stores. Instead of look at what you're available, what you're allowed to sell. We should change the laws so that you're not allowed to sell any of this stuff. And it's just like, how much freedom do people want? Because I know that a lot of people here in America like to speak as though they want as much freedom as they can get. And I like being able to purchase ultra processed foods when I want them. I just have the knowledge and wherewithal to avoid them when I want to.
Well, that also seems like the point that he is trying to make throughout this. Like in this whole campaign, something that I've seen brought up numerous times was like the packaging difference that you see in places like Australia or Mexico, where they have like these little front of label things on the package that tell you like, oh, this thing is really high in sugar or salt or whatever. And that's come up several times in his like discussions about this. But those are not even the things that he's focusing on with this product. He's focusing on the 90 something odd additives in there. And it just feels like kind of counterproductive. Like, which are you actually concerned about?
I'm black-pilled on the labels anyway. Like, there's plenty of European cigarette boxes that are like, "Look at what's gonna happen to you if you smoke these." It's like, cool. Or, I just had to investigate Prop 65 for selling Barkley stuff in stores, and it's just like, oh, the way that you are expected to do business is just say like Prop 65 warning. This may cause cancer, known by the state of California, whatever. It's like just slap that on everything because it's better safe than sorry, and then it ends up not being a very helpful warning label anyway. But I will say people are eating this, right? There's a big label on the front that says "Do not eat this," and yet people are eating it and surviving. So even in it's not like this nuclear radioactive thing where it's like if you touch it you're going to die. Like even the worst possible product that this guy could come up with is edible, and so far nobody's dropped dead from it. Versus something like a Panera lemonade.
Yeah, I feel like it almost would have been more impactful to his point to put out a protein bar that you legitimately cannot eat. Like, like here's this chocolate orange protein bar with broken glass in it.
Yeah. Yeah, once that makes its way up to the Supreme Court about like should he be allowed to sell this, even though it said do not eat this right on the front, then I think that's when you start setting legal precedent and making meaningful change. But for now, my reaction stands. It's a neat piece of performance art, and I expect some people to take it the wrong way, and that's fine by me.
DoorDash is testing out new delivery technology with Dot, a nearly 5-foot-tall, 350-pound autonomous delivery robot now operating in Phoenix, Arizona, capable of traveling 20 miles per hour on roads, sidewalks, and bike lanes while carrying up to 30 pounds of food.
I think anybody who has encountered a delivery robot on the sidewalk is like tired of the idea of seeing more of them. And so the glass half full reaction I'll have to this is like, oh, it can go in bike lanes and roads. That's nice and neat. What was the 20 miles an hour?
Yeah.
20 miles an hour. So it's not going on the highway. It's not going on major roads. Maybe when it can get to 55, then I'll be satisfied. But like, there's already, it's already so hostile for a walker to get around, much less with a gigantic robot on the side of the road that won't go around you.
The idea of something like that traveling on the highway is a nightmare. Can you imagine getting into a car accident with a self-driving cheeseburger? That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh my
They can
goodness.
put little like arms on it and make it look wacky. Bring some whimsy to the roads.
Well, they're already trying to do that. Like, they have put, like, eyes and a nose and a mouth on this robot, and the eyes are also headlights, and the mouth is where the food is stored. So when you get your food, this, like, gaping mouth opens up, and you take your food out of the mouth, and the people at the restaurant are, like, loading it into this giant metal creature's mouth, and it's supposed to, like, make it more endearing so that people don't, like, kick the robot when
Yeah.
they see it. But, like,
Anything with a face on it
if
is probably going to be way less likely to be harassed. I remember people suggesting that you put eyes on signs. Like if you have a tip jar out, put somebody's face on it with eyes so that they feel like they're being watched and judged. Like that's basic 101 level stuff.
I like that with the tip jar. I've never heard that, but I think that is really cool. However, while there may be evidence to all of that being true, I feel like in my experience, I have not seen that to be true. Back where I used to live, there were Stop and Shop grocery stores that all used the same exact robot that was called Marty, and it was this, like 5 foot something tall giant robot with giant googly eyes that would go around the store, and you were told that it was like alerting people to like spills and things like that, but really it's like a security robot. And I have seen people beat on that robot, adults and children. But at the same time, Stop and Shop also started making like little plush stuffies of the robot Marty, and it's all taking it too far. I don't want the robots involved in my food at all. I don't want stuffed animals of them. I hate it. I hate it all.
Here's an interesting question. Would you rather this, food delivery be a robot's job and not a human's? Like if you take away the notion that like this is going to reduce the number of jobs, which is a pretty big, thing to take away in this hypothetical scenario. But it's like, isn't it good that potentially there's a future where nobody has to be a burrito's private taxi?
I mean, I guess like I see where you're coming from with that, but like at the end of the day, like, as someone that does like use a grocery delivery service like pretty frequently, and has to like interact with people about things like that, I I hate the idea of like the robot like not being able to find my house and not being able to like communicate with the robot like, oh, it's the one with this color mailbox or whatever. Like that sounds like it just makes things more difficult.
I've had to do that with an Uber Eats driver that's just like, I'm so lost. Help me. Hold on." And I hear her rolling down her window and being like, "Hello, I'm looking for this house." Like, she was very, very lost. So it's not like I'm
But at least a person can do that. The robot can't even do that.
I guess so. It can send out a signal of where it is, and I'll just go run out to it and find it. The problem with this is that it's coming to the Phoenix metro area, and we already have Waymo to deal with. We've been dealing with Waymo for so many years, and although they have been getting better, it's been like a 10-year period where we've had these like self-driving cars being tested, getting into crashes, running over old ladies, turning left in the wrong lane. It's just so much fear to have gotten to this point.
I think it's just really a classic case of like nobody asked for this. We love this like futuristic idea of self-driving cars and robot butlers and things like that. But we're seeing it come to life right before our eyes, and it's like not cool. It's not sci-fi. It's just a mess.
I don't know if nobody wins from this. This is a big win for the very antisocial people who always check, leave my food at the door, because now you don't even have to look out the window to make sure that the driver drove away. You can just walk out right away and there's nobody there.
The robot's got cameras on it. I don't want them to
Oh.
see me either way.
Okay, never
I
mind.
don't want to see me like skulking out onto the front porch in my bathrobe to grab my groceries. Like, I don't want that on record for anybody.
Nobody looks good picking up a bag of Panera.
I've got a couple interesting products for you this week, but unfortunately, none of them are available to be delivered to you via robot. I have Ore-Ida Crispy Croutons, the Tacolit, a collab between Taco Bell and Salt and Straw to pay homage to the late great Choco Taco, and Erewhon Strawberry Glaze Smoothie Kits.
I would like to eat croutons. I think store-bought croutons are not very good, and the idea of making it like a potato tater tot crouton, it brings some novelty, and I'm all for anything that enhances home salads so that people make them at home more frequently.
I think that they sound really good. I think an overcooked tater tot is the best kind of tater tot. I want it to like shatter a little bit. And I also think that this is like a perfect natural extension of like people who like to put like French fries on their Caesar salad and eat it that way. I want to see more potato-based salad toppings. I'm over the bread, give me the potato.
Regarding the tacolit, how many people are going to order this thing as the taco latte?
I don't know. My brain would not have gone there, but I think saying tacolit enough is kind of a mouthful. I don't like the way it sounds coming out of my mouth. Choco Taco is already a really cute name. I get that they can't call it that, but I feel like maybe a little bit more effort could have been put into coming up with a name.
Oh, Taco Choco, maybe. Just different enough. Looking into it, though, it is actually way more customized than a standard issue Choco Taco. It's got like strawberry on the inside. It's formulated to not get soggy as you eat it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks absolutely delicious. I am nowhere near anywhere that I would be able to get it. But a Choco Taco was like a childhood favorite, and I can't see any way that this would not be incredible.
You wouldn't believe the amount of damage that the Erewhon Strawberry Glazed Skin Smoothie Kit delivery announcement made to the Phoenix metro area. And I'm sure it's true of all of the areas that they're now shipping to, because their Instagram post, it was like, now shipping to a city near you, just got people on the Facebook idiots, I'm afraid to say, like in a frenzy, just being like, yes, finally, Erewhon's coming here. It's like, no, they're just shipping smoothie kits. And you already know how I feel about smoothie kits via delivery, thanks to the old Daily Harvest video that's like 6 years old now. But this is basically a whole new beast. You're going to have Zoomers by the hundreds that are just going to be doing this for their TikToks. Like, yes, we're doing the smoothie kit at home. Check it out. I don't hate it. I don't hate the fact that it's happening, but I do hate that the fruit is not even whole. It just comes pre-blended. This all could have just been a Gold Belly collab. It makes very little sense. It's just assemble it yourself. You're not really even making anything.
Yeah, I do feel, as much as I feel like I kind of saw something of this nature coming a mile away with Erewhon, I I hate it so much. I mean, I feel like it's meant for, a certain variety of people on one hand, and then on the other hand, it's like meant to be almost rage bait because it's $100 for 4 smoothies worth of stuff. And then on top of that, shipping is $35 because it has to be overnight. That's like a $30+ smoothie. And they come with the little Erewhon plastic cups so that you can walk around with your little Erewhon smoothie. Like, At the end of the day, nobody is in this for the smoothie. They're in it for the cup so that they can reuse the cup and walk around their little town like, look at my little Erewhon smoothie that they made at home themselves with not the Erewhon smoothie kit.
You say walk around town, I say walk around school, because in my mind, the only buyers of this product are going to be rich parents of high schoolers. Like if you have a group of 4 cool girls that all want to walk around school with their Erewhon smoothie, you order this, you make a little TikTok the morning of, and then you go to school and you show everybody, show it off. And I think that's probably the target audience for this.
That is like the next level version of coming to class with like your little swirly Starbucks cup, like coming with the fancy $30 smoothie from the grocery store on the other side of the country is kind of crazy.
Well, this is all well and good, but if you excuse me, I have to go make a video on why water is wet.
Wonderful.
Thank you all for joining us.
Have a great week, everybody.
See you next time. Eater's Digest is published every Friday morning on YouTube with video and Spotify with audio. You can support the show by subscribing, by sharing it with somebody who might like it, or by joining our Discord at patreon.com/Shaq.